What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first episode of season 3 in our Formula 1 22 My Team career mode. Now, before we get into the opening race of the season, we're just going to go through all of the changes that we made to the car, the new schedule for the season, and any driver transfers that have happened since the season finale of season 2. If you guys haven't seen that, be sure to go hit the link up top so you can get caught up and see what happened. For those of you who saw it already, just a quick little summary. We ended up winning the Drivers' Championship in the last race in an epic 4-way battle for the Constructors' Championship. So we got a lot of prize money that we can use to upgrade facilities, and we got a lot of points that we can use to put upgrades into the car because there were no regulation changes by the FIA. So we're just going to carry on all of the upgrades that we've put in the last 2 seasons into season 3 here. If you guys are looking forward to season 3, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you guys know when all the videos come out, because this will be the last season of our My Team career mode series before we head into F1 23, which is coming out June 16th, I believe, or June 13th for those of you who have early access to the game by purchasing the Championship Edition. But the first order of business here is to sign a new main sponsor for the team. This is something I didn't do going into season 2. I was still with Moon. I forgot to change it, in all honesty, but we're signing with DSP Optics. It's going to give us $5.2 million as a signing bonus and bigger weekly bonuses if we can achieve the goals that they have set for us. But into the driver transfers, honestly, a little bit disappointing. There wasn't too much driver transfers. We got Felipe Drugovich being called up from F2. He is now with Alfa Romeo. And then I guess the biggest transfer, the biggest surprise of the season is Lance Stroll being fired by his own father at Aston Martin. He is now in the Alpine alongside Esteban Ocon, which I guess is a little bit of an upgrade because Aston Martin in this F1 universe is not the greatest team. They're pretty much at the back of the grid. Dan Ticktum taking his spot, leaving Alfa Romeo to make room for Felipe Drugovich. And then beyond that, every other driver is still on the same team. We still retain Sebastian Vettel from last season after his pretty good performance in the back end of the season. And then another big change here is that we are upping the difficulty from 95 to 100. So it's going to introduce a little bit more difficulty for me. I had a little thought of trying to put it on 110, but I'm definitely not ready for that yet. Maybe through F1 23 we'll get it up to 110, but for now we're going to keep it at 100 just to keep things a little bit more entertaining and competitive between me and the AI. And then with all the bonus money that we won from winning the Constructors' Championship, we're at $56.9 million. So with that money, I'm going to take it and upgrade the remaining Spec 2 facilities up to Spec 3, I think, except the marketing. That's not too important at this point, being the last season of this My Team career mode. But the aerodynamics, the power unit, and the durability department are all getting an upgrade to Spec 3, which will unlock the ultimate upgrades for this season. So I know that these components are going to be very expensive. They average out at probably like 2,000 points, which is like a race or 2 total of all the points that you gain from the practice sessions and the race itself. So hopefully we can get most of these upgrades in by the end of the season. And if there are regulation changes, I'm going to completely ignore them because, again, this is the last season, so it doesn't really matter how many components we are carrying on to season 4. And I'm probably going to put a little bit more focus in the power unit and the durability because those were probably our 2 most lacking categories in terms of our car last season. Definitely the durability. Having 7 DNFs as a team last season was just unacceptable, so we definitely need to work on that in order to try and get a Drivers' Championship in the final season here of this My Team career mode. I did contemplate trying to rush some of these upgrades to get them into the car faster and get more performance out of the car earlier in the season, but as it currently stands, we still have the highest performing car overall on the grid. We're still lacking in some of the departments, but overall we got the fastest car. So we're going to take our time on these upgrades and not waste any of the points trying to redo them if they were to fail, because the next upgrades are going to be very expensive. So we need to save as many points as we can to get these upgrades in. But we're now ready to enter the first race of the season. We are here in qualifying on our last flyer in Q1. Our first flyer was horrible. we're in P12, so by the time everyone gets their second flyers in, we'd probably be in the elimination zone for Q1, and usually I only do one flyer in Q1, but obviously a second flyer was required, so we're going to have to use that extra set of medium tires in Q2 and probably Q3 in order to save the soft set for the final flyers in those qualifying, assuming that we make it there. We're back with Oscar Piastri and Yuki Tsunoda, so the 100 AI difficulty is already starting to show a little bit. I also haven't really raced Bahrain since the Season 3 opener, I believe, of the Driver Career Mode series. And this track is really different in terms of how you're supposed to drive it. Most of the braking zones, you're only using like 50% of the brake power, so when I came back to this track after the last time I raced it, I was going 100% on the brakes into turn 1, and I kept locking up. Same thing going into turn 3. So very different track, but we just managed to squeeze into Q2 in P8. And then on our first flyer in Q2, we used a set of medium tires. We're already down in P16, along with Lance Stroll, the brand new Alpine driver, the two Haas's, and the AlphaTauri, surprisingly. But on this second lap, I'm starting to put things together here, as we are 9/10 of a second up on the previous flying lap. Our teammate Sebastian Vettel also doesn't have the greatest Q1. He comes in P6, but I think he only did one flyer. But he comes storming out of the gates in Q2, currently leading the session by over a second and a half compared to my time down in P16. I think he's a few tenths up on whoever's in P2. We cross the line here at the end of Q2, and we just squeeze into Q3 again. So I don't know how our race pace is going to be in this first opening Grand Prix of the season. Sebastian Vettel putting up a 126.2. We're down in P9 with a 127, and Oscar Piastri gets a 5-place grid penalty for collision with one of the other drivers in the qualifying session. So a horrible start to the second Ferrari driver in this season here. But the pain continues here going into Q3. We put up our first flying lap on a set of scrubbed soft tires from Q1, and that puts us in P10 currently behind the two McLarens, so we definitely need to move up at least a few spots if we want to win the race, or at the very least finish on the podium in this race, because that is the goal moving forward. We definitely need to obviously win as many races as possible, at the very least finish on the podium if we want to win the Drivers' Championship. It's going to be tough with Sebastian Vettel in the same machinery. He is leading the session right now by quite a bit. We are coming in through the penultimate corner here, 1 second above our previous flyer, and then into the final corner, 1.1 seconds. And we're going to see here how much damage this is going to do. And we're going to cross the line. It is going to be a P4 finish. So we're going to be starting in P4 behind Sebastian Vettel on pole, Max Verstappen, and George Russell. We got 5 different teams in the top 5. Sebastian Vettel finishes 5/10 in front of me in this qualifying, or close to 5/10. So he's definitely got the pace at this track. This is definitely not my preferred, track or anything like that, but 5/10 is a lot. So that difficulty showing Sebastian Vettel storming out of the gates here in Bahrain. But let's get into this opening race of the season, and let's see if we can squeeze into a podium or win the race here in Bahrain.
So go into each one when you can. We're going to need some work on the brakes, so put some energy into them and warm the tires as well, please.
All right, we are here for the Season 3 opener of our My Team Career Mode, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm a little scared of this first race. So we cranked the difficulty up to 100, and qualifying was tough. We barely squeezed into Q3, and then thank God we got a good lap in Q3, and we're qualifying P4, but our race pace, it's not looking too good. So we're gonna try our best here to stay up in front, maybe sneak into a podium. My prediction is Sebastian Vettel might run away with this race. Me and him were separated by almost 5/10 of a second in qualifying, so it's not looking good. It's not looking too good. We're going to try our best. Hopefully it makes for a better race with the easier difficulty, because I know the back end of last season got a little repetitive with me kind of clearing the front of the grid and taking P1. We won like the last 4 or 5 races of the season. But we're gonna get on the grid here. Hopefully we can get a good start and get this season started off right. Hopefully there will be no DNFs. I have yet to finish a season opener in this My Team series. 2 seasons ago, we DNF'd here in Bahrain on like the 2nd or 3rd last lap, and then last year in Jeddah we had the double DNF. Here we go for the season opener of season 3. It's time for a fresh start here. We got 5 red lights, and this race is underway. We get off the line well, but Charles Leclerc also gets off the line pretty well. Sebastian Vettel doesn't even have to look to cover off Max Verstappen. We're just avoiding contact and locking up here in the first turn. We're gonna keep oh, never mind. We keep P4 through the first 2 turns. Charles Leclerc right on our gearbox. He's going to be looking to go for the overtake down into turn 4. Oh, and Verstappen goes wide. He locks up, but we lock up a little bit as well. And we lose out to Charles Leclerc. Oh, man. We're still trailing Charles Leclerc, but DRS has been activated, and we're going to get a shot here to overtake him. We're going to go down the inside. Let's try now break him. Push him wide. Oh, he's gonna push us back, and we overtake Charles Leclerc to get P4 back. We're gonna have DRS once again. Verstappen still chasing down Russell. Sebastian Vettel with a few seconds of a lead at the moment. So we are looking at a solid podium fight here between George Russell, Verstappen, myself, and Charles Leclerc. A little bit of wheel spin. Oh, we got a yellow. Someone. Oh, Verstappen blows his engine. Verstappen is out. He's got a failure on the opening race of the season. Verstappen's out of the session. I don't know if that is what the yellow flag was for. It was a little bit early. Might have been something else, but because of that, we now move into a podium spot. And Charles Leclerc had to kind of slam on the brakes. And he is 1.2 seconds behind now, so we got to focus on getting caught up to Russell. Try and get into DRS range, take P2, and maybe we can start the season where we ended off the last one with the Cyborg Porsche 1-2. Right on to lap 14. I believe the pit window is approaching soon, but we are gonna try and get the overtake done here on George Russell. We're right on his gearbox. We're gonna have a slipstream, we're gonna have DRS, and we're gonna use the 40% of battery that we got in the tank. So he's going to go and guard the inside. So we'll probably have to go wide on the outside here. Beat him to the next apex and take P2 in this race. Sebastian Vettel 8 seconds ahead. Now hopefully Leclerc and George Russell start fighting. That would do me a great help. And I heard a little bit of contact back there as well. Oh yeah, they're already 1.2 seconds behind. Beautiful. So it's looking like a Cyborg Porsche 1-2. Assuming we get to the end of this race. We are not known for finishing the initial race of the season. It looks like Charles Leclerc locked up on turn 10. He's way behind now. Oh no, Charles Leclerc does it again. He did the exact same thing 2 laps in a row in the driver career mode series. And he lost out on the points because of that. He was in P2, I think, in that race. And now he loses out again on a chance to get onto the podium here. Let's see. Sebastian Vettel is staying out for now. We're going on to the hard tires. So we're going to need a good outlap. We had a 2-second lead over Russell getting into the pit lane. So let's see what happens here. No mistakes, guys. Come on. Nice. Beautiful. 2.4 seconds. So let's get back out on track here. So George Russell is coming out of the pit lane right now. Why do we have a yellow flag in the sector? Oh my god. And George Russell beats us out of the pit lane. We had a horrible outlap. The tires would just refuse to heat up until the last sector. And George Russell now has a 5/10 lead. So we're going to have to take that back. Alright, let's get Russell here. Let's get back into P2. Sebastian Vettel with a 12-second lead now. Last time I checked, it was at 8. So George Russell trying to outbrake us. Gonna go wide into turn 1. we're giving up space into the apex here, but we're gonna have DRS again, and we are gonna get the move done down into, I believe this is turn 5. We've now run into a little issue with a few laps ago. I might have underfueled the car too much. We are starting to have to manage our fuel, so I'm kind of just parking the bus on the apexes, especially the turns where you can't go too wide, like turn 10 here. Let's let off the throttle, try and save as much gas as we can, because I'm not sure if we're gonna make it to the end. It's gonna be tight, man. Charles Leclerc is out of the session. I think he lost it down at turn 10 once again. He might have gotten stuck, but we got a lap and a bit, just about 2 laps left here. We got 0.09 laps of fuel left in the tank. George Russell is right up our rear, and we're literally just trying to park the bus on him on these apexes, because if I go full throttle here, we won't make it until the end of the race. So just gotta block him where we can in order to conserve fuel, and so that we can kind of give it our all on the final lap. But yeah, because of this, Sebastian Vettel takes a 24-second lead on this race as George Russell is coming side by side now. This is not good. Okay. I think we should be okay. We gotta take it a little easy. Oh, Sebastian Vettel takes a fast slap from me on the final lap. Ow! His tires should be toast at this point. Sebastian Vettel, or not Sebastian Vettel, George Russell drops down to his second here. And we are really, really running low on fuel. We might just make it to the end, I don't know. Oh man, this is not good.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
We're really like taking it easy here. We can't do much. We just can't go into low fuel mode. That's the only thing we have to avoid, because once you go to low fuel mode, the car goes to like 50% speed and then it's over. So we're just coasting here on this final lap. This has to be the slowest final lap that I've ever done. I'm literally taking my foot off the throttle wherever I can without the risk of George Russell overtaking. But lesson learned here, we need to put more fuel in the car. Even with our fuel efficiency upgrades, it's not enough to underfuel the car as much as I would like to. Oh no, Sebastian Vettel puts up the fastest lap on his final lap here. And here we go. We really can't let off the throttle much more at this point, so we've got to hope that the 0.05 makes it to the end. Oh my gosh, I think we're gonna do it. Yes, we just make it, and we're gonna take P2. We're gonna get a Cyborg Porsche 1-2 finish here to start off the season. Sebastian Vettel taking the win by an absolute landslide. I think he was up 27 seconds, which is like a third of a lap on this track here. But we start off season 3 the way we ended off season 2 with a Cyborg Porsche 1-2 finish. But this time Sebastian Vettel finishing on the top step of the podium. I'm actually really happy that we managed to finish an opening race this season. It's taken 3 attempts and we finally managed to do it in pretty dramatic fashion. If we had to go another lap there, we definitely would have hit low fuel mode and probably dropped down to at least P5 or P6, because the 4 cars behind me were pretty tight in this race. George Russell coming in P3 to end off the last step of the podium. Lewis Hamilton not doing too bad in P5. He actually moved up a spot. He started in P6. But I think the story of the race is Red Bull not finishing in the points. Sergio Perez stopped 3 times, twice because of wing damage and then once because of the, regular pit from medium to hards. and Max Verstappen had the DNF. So similar to the real life 2022 opening race, Red Bull does not score any points. However, I'm not too worried. Red Bull is still in a great spot in terms of development. They just had an unlucky race for both drivers, really. Sergio Perez, though, might want to start looking over his shoulder because Red Bull might replace him. The way he ended off last season wasn't too great, and now this kind of sloppy race for him. 2 racing incidents, kind of his fault, and that leaves him scoreless for Red Bull. But after the opening race, Sebastian Vettel obviously leads the championship. I am in P2. So I will say Bahrain, not my greatest track, haven't raced it in quite a bit, and I was a little bit scared, but our race pace was a little bit better than I thought. So I'm hoping once we get to the tracks that I'm a little bit better at, we will be able to keep up with Sebastian Vettel. He won the race by like 30 seconds, which I think is the largest victory I've seen. But that is going to be the end of this one, guys. As always, if you've watched up to this point, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It was a pretty good season opener, the best season opener I'd say that we've had in this My Team career mode series, because the last 2 I DNF'd, and last year we DNF'd in Jeddah. And speaking of Jeddah, that is the race up next, so hopefully we can redeem ourselves from the atrocity that happened last season. If you guys are looking forward to that, hit the notification bell so you guys know when that video comes out, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys.